Boycotting is obsolete, meaning we should no longer be boycotting if we haven't intended on how we move the money. So like we boycotting Target. We did it this Friday.
Right.
They said Target, we spend $12.5 million a day.
The economic blackout is what they call it.
Economic blackout. Yeah. They said since February 1st to now, they lost about $15.6 billion. Right? It sounds good to say, oh, that's the power of the black dollar. But the goal of extracting our money from an institution is to put it into our own.
Right.
To not go to Target, then go to Walmart, don't mean nothing. Sense. If you went to Target, if you stop going to Target, we say, okay, we going to these black-owned supermarkets, we doing something. We like how we reinvest. So I also want to break that down. We also talk group economics, right?
Yes.
And I'm doing this with my family right now. I said, all right, what does group economics mean? Because everybody always say, but never break it down. All right, the first thing we need to do when we say group economics, identify who in your family provided service.
All right.
You don't go to nobody else but that individual for that service in the family. If nobody in the family do it, then let's see if it's a friend or somebody on the block. We don't go to nobody else but that person. If neither our family or our friends or association got it, then we're going to go to black owned. Somebody outside, but they us.
Right. PWI versus HBCU. How would you encourage?
I love it.
Let's go, Jordan. So I have a
You about to get me in trouble, y'all.
This is a Player Cards Right production, sponsored by Queen of Banana Pudding and Fitness by Ebony. Enjoy.
Welcome. We are back with our episode. What?
Yes, 4. We are excited with Jordan Pierre.
Yes, we're going to introduce ourselves before we get into our guest introduction. I am Ebony Nicole.
And I am Destini. And together we are Respectfully Ebony and Destini.
What's up, y'all? We thank you guys for joining us. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you guys are here with us. So we appreciate you guys.
And Jordan is here with us.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Welcome, Jordan. So before we really get into it, co-host.
Yes.
We want you guys to listen up, okay? Listen. We are honored to share Jordan's powerful moment as a proud graduate of Syracuse University, class of 2023. Jordan was nominated, then selected to deliver a memorable speech on behalf of his class of the prestigious Newhouse School of Public Communications.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Good afternoon, faculty, staff, students, and friends. My name is Jordan Pierre, and I'm currently a senior, majoring in broadcast and digital journalism with a minor in entrepreneurship and emerging enterprise. To be here today for me is much more than a ceremony. Today is much more significant because I come from a place where I've attended more funerals and court appearances than college graduations. To be here today is a barrier broken. I have my family in attendance today, and for many of them, this is the first time they have attended a college graduation. Earning the opportunity to walk across this stage required much more than just passing classes. For what makes this institution rigorous, at least for us Black and brown students, is not the curriculum, but what comes with being Black in the context of America while trying to uphold academic excellence. It's not the curriculum that makes this college experience rigorous, it's occupying academic buildings and being sent suspension letters for advocating for the creation of policies that will hold every student accountable for the racial slurs and vandalism of the dorms we Black students lived in. It's not the curriculum that makes these courses rigorous, it's bearing witness to your Black women friends having a focus on academia while learning they have been stripped of their agency to choose whether to give birth or not, despite having the highest mortality rate.
Come on, let's give it up for our guest. That's the one and only Jordan Pierre. So we're going to introduce our guest real fast, and we're going to dive into it because I know he got a lot of gems.
And he was
to
here
drop
on time. Early is on time, so we appreciate him.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's introduce our guest, Jordan Pierre, a.k.a. Mr. Get It Off My Chest, okay?
Yeah, we nicknamed him that. We gave him that name.
Yes. Welcome our extraordinary guest, a journalist, a critical analyst of media, a public speaker, youth advocate, and CEO and founder of The Voice. Yeah, he got his own clothing company, y'all. Okay, the feelings of the Hart Foundation with his bachelor's in broadcast and digital journalism and a master's in television, radio, and film from Syracuse University. Jordan is the leader of his generation, y'all, using his platform to educate, to empower, and making change. Also, to amplify the voices of the unheard.
Yes, and if I can add, Jordan, as the CEO and founder of the Voice Foundation, he equips young people with the tools to discover their voice, mobilize for change, and utilize social media to build community. Born and raised in Brooklyn,
stand up.
Jordan's mission is to restore hope in historically marginalized communities with a vision that extends all the way to the White House.
The White House,
and
y'all.
We'll get into that.
Absolutely.
His intellect, global consciousness, and powerful storytelling have earned him recognition on platforms like NBC's Today Show, The Tamron Hall Show, and now, respectfully, Ebony and Destiny.
You already know.
This is about to be an experience.
Yeah,
So welcome,
absolutely.
Jordan, and let the
Absolutely.
convo begin.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure. You know, I had to dress up because I treated Tamron Hall a certain way. I don't want to treat y'all nothing less. So.
I love
Listen,
that.
that's what's up. Respect.
Love that,
We
love
love that.
that.
And might I say, he looks handsome, y'all. Okay.
I
Dapper.
appreciate it.
Very nice.
Dapper.
So yeah, let's
So
go into.
what we do is we want to break the ice a little bit.
Yeah.
I will play a quick game
Okay.
called Get It Off My Chest. We
Okay,
see you
okay.
have that segment that you ran for a few years now.
Right.
We're going to call it 30 for 30 though.
30
so
for 30.
let's set the timer and we'll set it for 30 seconds. And what we'll do is we'll give you a topic
Okay.
and you get it off your
Get it
chest.
off
You
your
look in the
chest.
camera the same way you're on Instagram.
Right.
And you giving it to
you
us
give it to us.
with that
Yeah.
message.
I got
Yes,
you.
this is going to be exciting.
Mhm.
So let's do it. So let's see. So 30 seconds
Mhm.
and you are ready. And this is the first topic is actually something you've already spoke about on your Instagram. So let's do it. All right. So the timer is about to start. I'll give you the topic. Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance. Get it off your chest, Jess.
All right, now how y'all doing? I got a quick message I want to get off my chest. I need y'all to know that Kendrick Lamar performance was something that we all can learn from.
Mhm.
You got to understand that there will come a time where you have a message that your peers might not understand, but that world needs to hear. For media is a platform that not only Black people consume, but people outside of our village.
Ooh, nice. He said, I'm doing it in 15.
Let's go.
How to optimize your social media as a creator or entrepreneur?
All right, now how y'all doing? It's a quick message I want to get off my chest. I need you to understand that media is important and there's ways for which you to monetize your platform. But when you use it, the importance of having a platform is how you use it, not just having a platform in itself. So I need you to use it to motivate, inspire, and educate.
I like it. Let's
keep
do this
doing it
one.
in 10 and 15. Go, Ebony. Read the next one.
What's one generational curse would you need to break immediately?
Yeah, so how y'all doing? It's a quick message I want to get off my chest. I believe one of the first generational curses I want to break in my family is understanding how money works. Just how we spend our money is going to be important, especially with a new administration that's going to build a system built on capitalism. So we go on to succeed, we need to adapt and understand how economics works. So how we use our money going to be important, how you maintain, make, and multiply. It's some of the things I need to teach my family, but financial discipline is the biggest one.
If you could get one thing off your chest about the state of our community, what would it be?
All right, so now how y'all doing? So a quick message I want to get off my chest. And one of the first things I need to understand is the importance of us coming together. I want to first talk to my young Black men to understand your importance, but knowing that there's going to come a time we got to come together if our enemy is going to be greater. For my young woman, I need to understand to be mindful of the things that you consume. I believe that you become what it is that you watch. And we starting to have a generation of baddies, and I don't like it.
Ooh, drops the mic. PWI versus HBCU. How would you encourage?
I love it.
Let's go, Jordan. So I have a
trying to get me in trouble, y'all.
who is actively touring, and he is struggling with that. So I would love to hear what you have to say. How would you encourage the youth to choose?
Yeah, so how y'all doing? So a quick message I want to get off my chest. When we think about it, HBCU, historically Black college, versus a PWI, which is a predominantly white institution, I want to say I love HBCUs, right? The only difference for me is that before going to a predominantly white institution, I did come from an all boys school, meaning I had a grounding in my history and who I was. So for somebody that hasn't had that same upbringing or teaching, I do believe that you should start in the HBCU, because then the world is going to change you, but you need to come to identify who it is that you want to be prior to getting into the word that try to define it for you.
Ooh, Ooh, that was good.
That was good, Jordan.
That was good. That's it. That's
All right,
it.
boom.
Get
You
it off my chest.
try to get
He
me in
got it
trouble.
off his
Yeah,
chest, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So you want to go into
Mama's baby and Papa's baby too. So Jordan, again, thank you for gracing us with your
It's a
presence.
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. A part of Respectfully, Ebony and Destiny is so that we can connect with leaders like yourself and also build community.
We're going to be part of the change too. So
Exactly.
you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Yeah.
Exactly. We're both business owners.
Yeah.
I am the founder of Player Cards Right LLC, which is a publishing and production company.
Dope.
I self-published a book, children's book, inspired from my family of 5. Thank you. Titled Mama's Baby and Papa's Baby Too. I will be getting your information so I can send you a book personally. But with that being said, Mama's Baby and Papa's Baby Too, what do you think when you hear that title? And I know you are really adamant about uplifting fathers and men in the community. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that title and then get into a little bit of your upbringing and family structure.
I think the first thing I think about is the importance of intergenerational conversations, right? Like how we pass down certain knowledge. What I come to understand now that I'm trying to build back my block association, there's a lot of knowledge that dies with our ancestors or those that came before us. And that defeats the purpose of ever trying to build or establish a community if everything that the community is built on and its principles die with the person that orchestrated, was the president of it.
Right.
So now that I'm the president of the block association, there's certain information I have to learn. But I wish somebody was there to teach me and guide me throughout some steps. So one of the things we do is we like to judge our generation. But they say the generation is lost. Right. But what we got to come to understand is that we wasn't just born lost. Everything is a condition. Students and children need to be taught, right? So I can't judge you for what you have not been taught. And what we define ignorance as is not knowing, but is when you have been educated and you acted outside of what you now know, right? But we judging people based on what they haven't been taught because we assume you should know by a certain age,
right? But
I can't. And growing up, my stepfather always tell me that common sense not always common, and it wasn't until now that I gained exposure to other people in my peer group and going to other people's house that I start to now know that, damn, everybody didn't get the same teachings I was given, right? So it's certain things I was taught as a young Black man on how to navigate spaces that play into the adult I have become, and we can't negate childhood development. Right. So like a prime example, I was always taught dare to be different. So now in a society where people tend to think that because it's a trend that you got to follow it, I know it's okay for me not to be down with the trend because I was already taught that young. I never feared being different. I was always encouraged to do so. You feel me? So then when I'm thinking about the book, Mama's Bed, Papa's Bed too, and I gotta talk about my Black men, understand the importance of our fathers within households. I say it's not only important for us as young Black men to see a Black reference, right? Because it's through our fathers that we learn how we ought to treat a woman, how we ought to carry ourselves, how we deal with conflict, and most importantly, how we get to love our brothers, right? And there's some things that a mother can't teach me that only a father can teach a son, right?
That's so true.
I always, and then I want to say that the father's presence also important for the daughter, right? When a young woman is looking up to her father, she get to see what is a model of what a man should be. And I had to have that conversation with my pops growing up, like, I need you to be mindful of how you treat your mother in my presence, because it's how you treat her that becomes my reference of how a woman ought to be treated. Right. And that's a real conversation.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I always want to root my parents and, their importance. I love my mother, mother's baby, mother's child. But I do also always want to emphasize the importance of our fathers, especially during this time where we be made to feel as if we're invisible or that our value is only based on our monetary contribution.
Yeah. So growing up without my dad in the house, it allowed me to go down wrong paths, dating guys, because I was looking to the man to be my dad because I never had that, And, my question is, we don't have like boys and girls clubs or big sister, big brother. Like, back then, that's where I went to, the boys and girls club. And I had like mentors or somebody that was there. And I'm like, that gave me maybe a father image or told me like, listen, don't go down this way, Ebony. And so I think it's important that we get that back. Like, like the big sisters. Do we still have that though? Like,
So the programs do exist. Do I feel like youth still feel as gravitated to attending them? Not as much. We got social media. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like me being here and y'all using y'all platform to bring men to model that who they need the reference. Right. I keep using the word reference, meaning that there's some people that don't believe they can aspire to achieve certain things till they see you do it.
Right.
So a lot of young men, that's why I put on a suit. I walk in the hood and everything. They can see that.
I love it.
We get girls, we handsome, we can do all that. So it's not that you can't be from the hood and a scholar too. So I got to model that. So it's important for us to, we losing. When I mean by losing, like we losing our youth to the other influences.
Yeah.
So now we got to compete. It's like, all right, if we need to show them what a man look like, we need to bring them onto our platforms. Let me show you how a young man can carry himself outside of just being a Twitch streamer. You feel me? Outside of just our YouTubers. I'm going to show you some other young men that's also doing it. Yeah. Right? That may not have the same notoriety, but with our assistance, we're going to get them there. You feel me? That. So they do exist. Do I feel like it has the same? Nah, not at all. Because youth don't be coming outside like that. Hardly do they even talk to each other. We DMing.
That's so
true. You feel me? We got Central C to about what? Social media love. He got a song up there, right? It's like
social media love.
How you DM. I see you on my For You page. It's like you feel me? Like you talking to girls on Instagram, you never met them. Then you meet them in person, she might not look the same.
This is a different
might smell different. It's like, all right, you didn't even get to know that. So I feel like a lot of things that y'all had growing up when it came to like that community orientation.
Exactly.
We lack that, but we got to build it back. So like building a block association, like we need to have a block party. Some kids that need to see that. They never had a block party. How you born and never had a block party? Nah, we got to bring that back. So it's like, all right, so certain things is like, and I was saying this on my way here because I was thinking like, we say a lot of things that we lost in our community was due to gangs, right? But then there comes a time with a hood or those that want to see the change, got to stand up. It's like, all right, if y'all going to do this on the block, y'all need to know that we here too. Yeah. And we willing to go to whatever extent y'all need to go to protect our community if that's what y'all trying to do is damage it. And we got to have that type of, that association. It's like, all right, bet. When y'all come over here, y'all know we don't do that on that block. And if y'all try to do it, y'all know y'all got to confront us.
Right. I think there's so many layers to this conversation. Yeah. I grew up with both my parents, but they both come from, dysfunctional upbringings. They come from the South Bronx and Harlem. Both of my grandfathers were murdered due to gun violence. So although my father was in my life, he didn't have the model of being a father. So he, sheltered me, and he loved me, and he provided for me. But to Ebony's point, I also was looking for love in all the wrong places because, most of my peers didn't have that model. Right. So in retrospect, I say to myself, I regret it, but I was a bit, I would say, ashamed, if that makes sense. Because again, most of my friends and family, none of them had both the mother and father in the home. So I felt like embarrassed when I had to take instruction or if I had to come in at a certain time and everybody else was like free range, like you can't stay tonight. Like I was like the minority, quote unquote, out the group. So it took me a while to go through everything that I went through to realize that I should have ran to him instead of from him, in a sense, just to try to blend in with my peers. That's why someone like Jordan, right, having you on this platform, to your point, is to showcase leadership. Like it's okay to be a leader. It's okay to dare to be different. And my father was there, but he worked most of the time so that I could, go to Catholic school, so that I didn't, fall into the trap of most people who grew up. I'm from Spanish Harlem, the East Side. They call it killer first. Killer first. That like it's like the grimiest of the grimy, and I had to go through a lot. You know what I mean? And, he protected me in the sense that no one ever came past my threshold. Right. But when I went outside, I had to learn a lot because I didn't want to bring it past my threshold. So I had to, put on my big girl panties and just roll with the rush. But I think to your point in regards to the different organizations, the community and gentrification, and you could speak to this, I think that's also an issue why, we see the liquor stores on every block, we see the Dunkin' Donuts on every block, we see the real estate being implemented, but we don't see these programs. In my opinion, I already have a business plan if I had the connections, to implement incentivized programs on every block. The same way you're building a Dunkin' Donuts on every block, there needs to be a space where young boys can come go to the studio, learn how to podcast, learn about real estate, learn about all these things. And if we got to give them a little $50, $20, $100 groceries, why isn't that a conversation?
And that's big. And I say we all losing our community to economics, right? Because, when people speak about money, they say like, race don't matter or money don't see color, things like this. So when you start to prioritize money over like a purpose, over community orientation, that's what is being pushed towards, right? It's like, if it don't make money, don't make sense. But you gotta understand, a lot of them organizations are not going to be the most profit generators.
They don't fund.
But they need it. And that's why I say like, I don't push just economics. There's a lot of things you need to learn before you get money. Because it's a lot of things that in the game of economics, you got to have some principles before you get your money.
A fact.
Or the money going to push you in certain directions if you ain't never get your identity first. And I've seen a lot of people lose it. So I could do much more damage giving a young man a certain amount of money now that don't know who they are.
Don't know what to do with it.
Then I could teaching him.
Right.
So, but we keep saying economics, and I keep, I'm a scholar. So what I say also economics is our history. A lot of people don't feel like they want to, all right, let's use African American Studies departments. A lot of students don't enroll in the courses because they feel like there's no correlation between understanding your history and making money. You feel me? But you need to know your history.
Yes.
You feel me? And then when it comes to money, it's like, I got to teach you certain things before I give you that. So even with social media, we say, the youth have so much exposure and access. And what I often say is like, we never talk about the impact of premature exposure, meaning to be exposed to something without first being taught. I'm never going to give you a gun if I ain't never teach you how to use it.
That's good.
So we teaching them certain stuff. It's like, yo, they got so much exposure, but they haven't been taught. So you giving my child exposure things I never even conversed with them about.
Right.
That's a danger.
Right.
Because now you think you could just do it.
Right.
Now we forgetting the lessons. As young, we want to be this, we want to do that. I want to get, you don't know what comes. You lose friends when you start getting in certain spaces. People look at you different. I got to teach you how to move.
Yeah.
You feel me? But we not talking about that. So we just keep saying the exposure and access. That also could be detrimental if I haven't taught you about it first. So then when it comes to these programs, I understand when it comes to profit. So I'm not against learning how to build systems to make money, but I am against a system that makes us prioritize money over people.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's what we're saying. We're saying y'all moving, y'all bringing Starbucks, but y'all not helping build our community.
Right.
We have liquor stores on every block that ain't donate to they ain't do no back to school drives. I ain't see them ever donate to our children going nowhere. And I throw a community activation every year. It's an event where I bring the hood together. And I went to the liquor store, right? I'm like, yo, how y'all doing? I'm like, I want y'all to give some waters. They act like they don't speak English. You understand when we spend our money with you. I went to the supermarket. It's largely Hispanics. I'm like, yo, how y'all doing? Yeah, boom. I need 3 cases of water. They're like, okay, we're going to think about it. No. Ain't no think about it. So this is when I get to my revolution side where it's like, all right, so any business that's in our communities that's not finding ways to have a blueprint to reinvest, oh yeah, we burn it down. And I don't want to encourage that, but what I'm saying is you can't be here unless you have shown me a blueprint of how you're going to make money off of us, but also reinvest it. If you're not, you can't be here. And that's what we stand on, because I don't like it. I look at the beauty supply stores. I hate going there with women because y'all spend all y'all money in the beauty salon and beauty supply stores.
Don't do that, Jordan.
But it's all when I go in there, the Asians is like,
we need to own our own
business. But it's
we need to own
people
our own
are selling our products to us. But they don't do no reinvestment.
What do you think it's going to take for us to now get in those positions?
Say boycotting is obsolete, meaning we should no longer be boycotting if we haven't intended on how we move the money. So like we boycotting Target. We did it this Friday.
Right.
They said Target, we spend $12.5 million a day.
The economic blackout is what they call it.
Economic blackout. Yeah. They said since February 1st to now, they lost about $15.6 billion. Right? It sounds good to say, oh, that's the power of the black dollar. But the goal of extracting our money from an institution is to put it into our own.
Right.
To not go to Target, then go to Walmart, don't mean nothing. Sense. If you went to Target, if you stop going to Target, we say, okay, we going to these black-owned supermarkets, we doing something. We like how we reinvest. So I also want to break that down. We also talk about group economics, right?
Yes.
And I'm doing this with my family right now. I said, all right, what does group economics mean? Because everybody would say, but never break it down. All right, the first thing we need to do when we say group economics, identify who in your family provided service.
Right?
You don't go to nobody else but that individual for that service in the family. If nobody in the family do it, then let's see if it's a friend or somebody on the block. We don't go to nobody else but that person. If neither our family or our friends or association got it, then we're going to go to black owned. Somebody outside, but they us.
Right.
Love
that.
So that's how you break it down. And then even, I'm not also just push race, right? I believe our village got to be diverse for sure. So we got to share the common mission. But that's what we got to do though. You feel me? It's like you left Target and you went to Trader Joe's. What we doing? That's not what. So that's what I mean by the boycott. It's not intentional if we didn't find ways to reinvest. If this $15.6 billion went back to black people, it's like, oh yeah, now we build an economic infrastructure. Now we got some intent. But to just say don't go to Target and we just go to another person, it's like they ain't helping me. So that's what I mean. And we got to come back, but we got to understand economics, right? And I talked to my brother about this. They talk about this thing called After Profit Margin Over Your Bills. One of my mentors.
Okay.
He tell me this. He means you need to write down all your expenses. We need to know what we spend each month on what. How much does it cost for you a month? Then after you cover that expense, what is the money that you have left over? Then we need to break that down in percentages on what we going to invest. I tell my brother, you smoke weed all the time. So I had to break it down.
Break it down.
$60 a bag.
Yeah.
You feel me?
It's costly.
$60 a bag, 4 bags a day, that's $240.
Right. It's costly.
In a week, that's a bin you smoke.
That's a bin.
You smoked the bin. You tell me you don't got it. You can't tell me you don't got it. You just spent the bin.
Though, when you look at that,
So
I'm
that's
dead
what we gotta,
serious.
so when even if they're like, yo, but we smoke and help me. All right. If we trying to build something, no, bro.
Yeah,
you
nah,
feel
you
me?
gotta
I
put
need
it
you
down.
to, how we gonna cut some expenses?
Yeah.
What's some of the things we could cut? But that's what I mean when we talk about this building our community. It's going to start with economics because that's how we got to hit the system. The system is reacting to money.
Yeah. So for someone who shops at Amazon religiously and feels like, well, I won't be able to get a package in 24 hours.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person?
I mean, when it comes to building a community, it's not going to be convenient all the time. You feel me? You telling me you want your package on time. Everything ain't going to be convenient about this organization.
We got to be uncomfortable.
You
got to get
be
uncomfortable.
okay with that. That's a part of the process. If you're going to withdraw, I got to take a stance on what that means. You know, I didn't like when Tabitha Brown said she didn't want to remove her stuff off the shelves. I had to react to that because we don't do, it's like, yo, if you going to take a stance against us, even if we don't say DIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility is something that's just for Black people. All right, but what was the intent? Is to show that, all right, we don't really need to. We built these things because it was a time period where even if we worked twice as hard, had the same accolades, we didn't get the access.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, bet if you're gonna take that stance against us, we're gonna take a stance against you, and by all means. And you know, I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more that we are both like the oppressed and oppressor, meaning there's some things that we do play a role in that plays a role in our injustices, right? And it's some like Apple, you feel me? Apple use certain things from the Congo. It's like, I bet I'm not too far on what goes on in the Congo, but we do use Apple. Yeah. But as you become more educated and we withdraw, we need to also build something that we can withdraw too. You feel me? So like, if I'm saying pull from Target, we need to build a supermarket. If I say pull from Apple, we need to have some Black-owned phone companies.
Yeah.
Stop buying this car with a Black-owned car manufacturers, right? So that is a thing. But so that's what I speak to. It's like you got to know it's not going to always be convenient.
Love that. X out the convenience, y'all.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What inspired you to become a motivational speaker, and at what age did you know you were different from your peers?
Yeah. So the story where it all started, like how I discovered my voice, is how most people say it. What made me start speaking the way I do. I lost my cousin Unique. It was in like 2015, and I remember we had a block party this day, but my brother don't get along with the people that's across the street at the time.
Okay.
And so my cousin didn't really want to be around. He like, nah, I don't want to get in no trouble. He wound up dying that night, right? He got killed by law enforcement. But he told us that day, and when he first got out of jail, like, yo, I'm never going back to prison. That's what he always told us. I know I don't like the judicial system at all, because something there. He was like, whatever I do, I'll give my life before I go back, right?
Jesus.
So boom, I lost Unique. News Channel 12 came to the house. And they was trying to interview my aunt, but my aunt didn't really want to speak on it, right? They confiscated the footage as well, the officers. So we didn't really, and she didn't want to push forward. So I remember seeing that, and I'm like, I noticed that media only came to the hood after one of us died. So I'm like, that's the danger of a single narrative story, because you only coming around to portray us in a certain image and light. I'm like,
How old were you then?
I'm probably like 8,
okay.
but I remember it vividly. You know, there's certain things we didn't know how to put into a language until we got older, but I understand it now. I'm like, so they only come around, only see the news come after somebody died. And the way I worded it then when I first made voice, I was like, a eulogy shouldn't be the only time my voice is heard.
I wrote that down.
Right? So I put that, and then now it's like, so as I got older, when I delivered the speech, NBC wanted to do a feature on me. And it was like, yo, Jordan wanted to do how one man can change the world. In my mind, I wanted to do it in the house in that same position they had my aunt in. Right? But they set up wouldn't fit in the crib. But I wanted to like recreate the narrative. Like the first time y'all was here was to speak on death, but now we here is to speak on life.
Yeah.
So I just felt like media played a big role in shaping my identity. And I was like, I gotta change it. And then it started, I went to Eagle Academy, an old boys school.
Okay.
And it was one day we do a summer bridge program, and you have to say a pledge. The Eagle Scholars embodies humble confidence, the whole pledge, right? Boom. And I remember in 6th grade, they was like, yo, whoever remember the pledge and come back the next day and say it, I want y'all to say it, right? Who can memorize it? Next day come, I'm the only one raise my hand. Like, I can do it.
I got it.
They put me up there.
Right.
I said it.
Aww,
after that, it was like, okay. So then more opportunities came. So then I believe it came a time where like, people will put me in positions to use my voice, whether I wanted to do it or not. So I identified that with my call. And a lot of people was like, nah. And we looked at J.O. in the hood. That's my nickname. Okay. It's like J.O. always going to be the president. But what they also meant was like Jordan is our spokesman. You know, like there's some things we ain't going to be able to do, but through him, I get to do it. So it's like we going to rock with J.O.
Nice. You're gifted for sure.
Yeah.
So you know that you're special. Do you know that?
Yo, son. I mean, yeah, I know I'm special.
Yeah.
At first, though,
I'm
I'm
not
trying
gonna be
to
modest.
I'm
Own it.
special, but
You are.
feel me? I believe it's a lot of special people out here that just gotta get somebody to make them feel like it's okay to live in your special. You feel me? A lot of us feel like or even growing up, parents, silence you to an extent. Who is it that you let silence you? Who that made you feel as if you couldn't speak? Who made you feel like you wasn't creative, that you was inadequate? And it's like you need somebody to reaffirm you back in that. Like, because as children, we believe we could do anything. And as we got older, when did we start questioning certain decisions? When we start, but it was people in our life that kept telling me, nah, bro, that ain't gonna work. So you do need somebody like myself when I come speak to you. If I'm like, bro, you got the power to be a reference. When I say that to them, I'm like, when I look at Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, I look at them as a reference, meaning I too can be that.
Yeah.
I don't look at them as if like, oh, our ancestors. It's like
they're supernatural.
We could be our ancestors. What's up?
Right.
I could do what Martin Luther King did. Put me on the platform to speak, and I'm gonna shake them up. Malcolm X, mobilize the community. Nation of Islam. We could do that. What's up?
And this is the title too for your episode. Is I am my ancestors' wildest dream.
So even on that, I say I'm my ancestors' wildest dream, but then I tell them like, I don't want you to be their dream. I want you to be who they were in reality. Like I want you to be them. Like be them. Harriet Tubman, I use her every time. She leave. She got some slaves. She left and pulled back up.
Pulls back up.
This is me. I go speak. I pull back up. Yo, when I speak at the Oscars, BT, when I get there, I'm bringing the hood.
That's a fact.
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna come back. You feel me? I'm coming back though.
Love
So
it.
I use them as references, like something you can learn from. It's like Harriet always left and came back. All right, so we're gonna do that. Malcolm X spoke his truth to power. We're gonna do that. Martin Luther King preach. All right, he spoke. Are we doing that? What up? It's no difference. One day they're gonna say, yo, why would you not?
Why would you not?
I don't see them as no different from me. I see them and I'm like, I like what he did, and now I gotta figure out how I get
how I'll keep it going.
And
There's
God
some
gives
young
us
boy and some
all-
girl
and
out
God
there hear
gives us
this.
all different
They feel
talents
that.
to your point, all different gifts.
Yeah.
So we have to dig and we have to utilize them.
I'm gonna just say that. So when I say your voice, right, I don't mean necessarily like verbally speaking, because everybody not gonna be as eloquent, right?
Yeah.
But some girls do hear. That's your voice. You feel me? You could get 12 girls in the salon. Some teachers can't do that.
Yeah.
And they listening to you. Like you could do that.
Right.
So some people voice is sports. You got a team of 15 young men. You the captain. That's gonna be your voice. So what I'm saying is like find what it is that you good at. A lot of young men it's not very good articulating their thoughts, but when you put them in the studio, they tell you their whole story.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, music is your voice. But when you identify your voice, we do need to use it for something. Like we gonna use it for some positivity. So find your voice, whatever it is that you good at, and then use that to inspire is what I say.
And I always say also, Black men are poets.
Absolutely.
Specifically, like I'm a battle rap girly, and I'm just like the way they put these words together. Like they're scholars in their own right.
I started wearing an unk chain because of chest. He was like, he said, how y'all praise the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit and forget the mother.
Woo.
Like you ain't get prophets from. I said,
hello.
I started looking at the cross a little different. I was like, hold on. We forgot the mother. Chess did his thing, but
that's a
fact.
fact.
That's from the Bronx too, right?
So, but even in the Bronx, you feel me? I ain't gonna talk too much on the drill rappers, but I do need you to promote a message because, no matter how many times I speak, you gonna reach a demographic that never gonna see me. So when I talk to my entertainers, my artists, and I'm like, yo, you gotta know that you got a responsibility because these youth looking at you.
That's a fact.
And you speak into our rage. You feel me? One of my mentors said, music is the only thing that got access to your spirit without your consent. Meaning like we be walking down the block and you could hear music.
That's so true.
And you speak into our
right?
spirit. So I'm like, if you got that platform where you speaking to these young men's spirit, bro, what you gonna tell them? We ain't gonna just keep, and you speaking to rage because we angry. You feel me? So you gotta understand what you doing now. Because you saying, yo, slide on your ops and I'm mad. I'm like, yeah. You gotta tell them like, yo, bro, it's another side of that. Because now you know your platform, your influence, and what you triggering. And that's why I tell them, it's like, you gotta be mindful of the responsibility that come with your platform.
Nice. That's good. That's good.
How do you stay motivated through adversity?
Oh yeah, I ain't always motivated, right? So when we say motivated, right? When we say they say you need discipline, right? Meaning that I have a devotion, a commitment towards something, whether I'm motivated or not.
Woo!
right? Because I ain't gonna always be motivated. Like I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, you feel me? And I go to the gym, but I ain't always motivated to go. Sometimes
Jordan,
the bed get real comfortable though.
I always say that. I get up at 4:30 in the morning for the gym. I be like, you gotta be disciplined.
Because
some days
the thing is like, you know, the bed get more comfortable as you start making commitments. I don't know why. It's like,
that's
why
a fact, right?
Like, what's going on? I gotta sleep on the couch and stuff now.
Right.
Because I gotta make comfortability
sleep
like
in your workout
gear.
Say that again.
I gotta make comfortability my enemy. Right?
Yes.
Meaning like, once I start feeling comfortable, I don't like that. So I gotta fight that. And then I'm saying the discipline because you gotta have an unwavering commitment to something if you want to get there. You gotta know it's gonna be times when you ain't gonna feel motivated. I don't always feel motivated, but I know I gotta go. And then I'm gonna say it's a luxury to be able to lose discipline and think it's okay. Because you got other people relying upon you. Like you say, you got family of 5. You can't afford not to do something because you don't feel motivated. You got 5 ruling on you. Imagine my mom stopped doing stuff because she wasn't motivated.
Right.
Where would we be? My mom had to make it. I don't have that option, bro. Because we losing our community. I got people dying. We losing young men. We losing our young women. I don't really have that luxury to lose a discipline because I don't feel motivated. It's like, yo, Jay, it's bigger than you. So I think that once you become cognizant that you got much more than just yourself relying upon your success and your failures, you start understanding that whether I'm motivated or not, bro, I got a village that I gotta get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Sometimes do you feel that it's heavy? It gets too heavy for you?
Absolutely. What? Like now we talk about spirituality. You gotta have a spiritual foundation. You gotta start praying. So it's certain things I said this before, like there's certain I used to do affirmations and I say, God assist me in conquering the battles. I'm not strong enough for conquering it alone. Right. So certain things I wasn't strong enough to conquer alone. So I had to build. I'm happy my mom brought me to church when I was younger.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying all young men do need a spiritual foundation, whether spiritual or religious, but you need something that you rely on that's greater than men because men gonna let you down.
Yeah.
And when you feel like you can't overcome something, you gotta pray. You feel me? You gotta pray like, yo, I know God ain't gonna let me. So it's some things I do or I try to do because I believe in God more than I believe in myself. So it's times where I don't believe I'm capable. I know like God more capable. So that's what I mean by like you gotta have a spiritual foundation. So when I feel like I can't conquer, it's getting hard.
Yeah,
I pray. You feel me? I might call some of my friends, walk them through, but I'm looked at as the friend that's the motivator.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying. You're the motivator. So where do you go for your motivation?
I've heard you speak about a life coach and mentors.
So I do have mentors, right? So one of my mentors, Nicole Lee, she came in my life at pivotal times. So I say God often send you like angels. Whenever somebody come in your life at a certain time, you like
just when you need them.
I don't even know like how you just appear. Like she texted me on Instagram saying like, yo, young man, let's see we connected. I just followed up and we started connecting and we was doing like Saturday meetings. We had talked.
Wow.
And she had helped me shift my mindset, how you feel. And then language is important, right? Some things we just don't know how to say it right. So she equipped me with the language. Ooh. And it's a woman. So I also got to say woman played a pivotal role in my evolution as a man, right? Good stuff. I say like you measure a man's growth based on how you treat women. It was a time period where I was outside, right? But, my homegirl Domo when I was in college. That's a nice way of saying it. I'm an alpha, right? I'm in a fraternity and my homegirl Domo was an AKA. Back in Syracuse, I was outside, right? And they would say, Jordan, she told me, she sat me down, she's like, yo, Jordan, you can't be Councilman Tate from Power, right? Meaning that you can't go and have this platform when you speaking and motivating and being seen as a councilman or the president, but then behind closed doors, you promiscuous. You feel me? So she was like, yo, if you hurt one more girl, I'm gonna cut you off. And that day, I was like, yo, I gotta fix it. Because that was my homie, right? So like women have played a pivotal role in pushing me to become better, right? And y'all, you know, I say men provide structure and discipline, but a woman provide a different, like a spiritual guidance, a different insight.
We're nurturing.
Y'all nurturing. There's certain things y'all see and y'all navigate the world a little differently. Y'all make us want to be better for y'all. So that's why I say our young woman is important. Because if y'all make certain things uncool, a lot of young men wouldn't be doing it. But there's many ways in which women, you know, Forster was going like they condone it. It's like I like a roughneck. Like hold on, we don't need that right now for me. But so women played a pivotal role in my development. So I want to say that part too.
Thanks for being vulnerable about that, because you know, like he said, I had to like chill. Y'all got to chill out, so that you can push that mission forward.
Yeah. Did you always know though that you wanted to go to school? Was that always the goal? Was that always the plan? Because I hear a lot of the conversation being, you know, mindset. And I just enrolled back into school after a 17-year hiatus. That's a different conversation. But I'm actually studying Africana Studies at Lehman.
Okay, fire.
And one of my adult program classes discussed the difference between the growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And most of us don't know, you know, how to put it into words when we see someone who just are not motivated, right? Or don't aspire to do X, Y, Z. It has everything to do with your mindset.
Yeah.
So what do you say? Like, did you always have this growth mindset, or was it groomed? Who groomed your mindset?
Yeah, my parents. You know, I keep saying child development. Like, my stepfather and my mom is like, if you're not going to college, what you doing? I don't know if you living in this household.
Oh, so there was no ultimatum.
Nah,
there was no.
I love that.
This is what I want to say. Like, definitely today, because the parents are getting younger, I do believe you should have a voice. But there comes a time where it's like you don't have an option.
Right.
And they were saying, under this household, you abide by my rules. We can't lose certain things. There's some things I didn't have an option. Like, Jordan, you going to school.
That's it.
And I'm happy because there's some things I can't foresee that you feel me? As your guardian, as your parent, somebody that's elder, they supposed to put you in a position that you ain't gonna even know you're gonna benefit from. You feel me? I didn't know I wanted to go to college. And then it's harder today because economics. Everybody can say you're gonna be in debt, you shouldn't go to school. But then I think about it, I'm like, yo, how many young men would still be alive in my neighborhood we was able to send them to school?
Yes.
It's a lot of mothers like, yo, I just wish I sent my son somewhere else. Like, I just need him to see different.
Yeah.
That's what I think about. So we keep saying money, money, money. I know mothers like, yo, I just wish I could send my child somewhere because I don't like who he hanging out with. And if he saw something different, he's gonna change. You feel me? But it's hard to get a young man to change and keep him in the same environment. Right, that he needs to maintain those characteristics to survive. But if I change your environment, it's like now you more open to understanding what I'm saying. Right? It's like, all right, I don't mind hearing because I don't need to carry my gun right now while I'm in queues. Right? Because I'm not in that same environment. But you can't keep me in Brooklyn and saying, yo, nah, don't move like this. You bugging. I gotta survive. Right? That's that's what I'm saying about, like, I didn't understand. I didn't always want to go to college. But I'm happy that I did. I'm happy there was people that was like, Jordan, you gotta do this. And then going to Syracuse, some people was like, I'm undermining my value. They like, you need to go to Harvard, Yale. So I always had mentors, and I say this, like, your mentor vision for you should be greater than the one you have for yourself. Your mentor should not be there like, I want to go to Syracuse. No, you need to go to something less. I ain't gonna name no schools. But like, if I say Syracuse, we need to build a plan to get to Syracuse, right? Someone's like, you need to go to Harvard. Yeah, they need somebody like you. I went to Syracuse. People felt like that was low.
But even to get into Syracuse, you have to have a good GPA.
Syracuse is a great school. But people was like, Jordan, Ivy League, you need to go big. I need you in Stanford. Like, that's my
for you to even get accepted into Syracuse is a win.
Yeah, it is. Right.
But they were thinking higher.
But they were thinking, I hear that. I'm acknowledging both.
I gotta say this for our youth too. It's like, I was taught this in church, and then my stepfather would say, excellence is expected. Right. So when y'all saying accepted in Syracuse, I didn't see it that way. For me, it's like that was supposed to happen because I was taught that excellence is expected. I don't expect you not to be excellent. So like, if you pass and I do good on the speech, it wasn't surprising me when my speech did well. It's not a surprise to me.
Right.
I expect you to do excellent.
Yeah.
I love that.
If I do bad, I'm like this. Hold on. What's going on?
Right. Yeah.
So when you say accepted Syracuse, I ain't see it that way. I'm like, I'm supposed to. You feel me? Yale, Harvard, they don't accept. What? So I expect excellence. And that's what we got to teach our youth. It's like, I expect you to do excel. I don't want you to think that passing the exam, you like, wow, I passed. What?
No,
you supposed to have passed.
We're not chasing mediocrity.
Right. How you expecting to do, like, what?
Right.
You surprised that you succeed, but you're not surprised you fail. If I fail, I'm surprised. So what I'm saying is like, but the mentors, the child development is important. You got to reaffirm your child that, like, I expect you to succeed.
Yes.
So that they start to understand that success is not surprising me. If whatever show, wherever I speak, I'm supposed to be there. I'm never shocked that, like, wow, you around. I'm like, what else was I supposed to be?
Right. This seat was for me.
I'm supposed to be here.
This seat was for me.
I'm supposed to be here.
It was for me.
That's how you gotta feel, but I can't negate that my family, my community played a role in that. Like, they would say,
mental health, mental illness.
You're gonna be the president. J.O., you're gonna be this. And they kept reaffirming, like, yo, you're gonna be the one to make it out. So I gotta. Did
you see the video of him when he was a young boy?
I did.
Manifesting.
I did.
Everything that is going on, manifestation and putting the words out there into the atmosphere, into the universe also. Yes, you manifested.
And to go back what Jordan said, that's why it's so important to have people around you pouring into you.
Got you.
Like, you have to stay around people that's pushing you, giving you life. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope that you have those mentors that's in your corner. I seen an interview with you, and you spoke about some of the young guys don't go to college just to go. They go Can you speak about what you?
So
I love
what I said is there's two forms of incarceration, right? The first is to be behind bars. That's one we're more familiar with because they've got a lot of friends, family members that's been in prison. But the second form of imprisonment or incarceration is of being a victim of limited exposure. What I mean by that is that, like, my stepfather also say, and I keep referencing him because he taught me a lot of things. He said, while it's easy to dream, it's hard to aspire to become that to what you have never seen.
Right.
There's some things you can't even aspire to be because you never seen it.
Right. Example.
You feel me? You have no reference of how could that be achieved. So we are in the hood, we victims of limited exposure.
Yep.
You haven't seen certain things. Some things I can't speak to you about and expect you to understand because you just haven't seen what I've seen.
Right.
So when I say that, it's like we limited exposure is a big thing, right? What you've been exposed to, we look at media, we saying we don't see various references. When y'all was going, you had different shows. You feel me? You had Bill Cosby. You had different shows that was showing, right? Now we getting a certain image that, and I said this in the speech, the problem with stereotypes, not that they untrue, but they're incomplete. So I'm not saying that our community we don't have game. I'm not saying we don't have, a few women that's like baddies and all this stuff. We have that. But we also have women that can amount to Michelle Obama. We do have women that own businesses. We do have black women that's doctors. So I just need you to give me a holistic representation of how we exist. But that's what I mean by limited exposure is that we haven't seen certain things. And when you go to college, I always try to give you a different narrative. Some of us never had our own room. You get to college, you can have your own room. Some of us always felt like we was in a household where
that's tough. That's tough.
We all felt like we was in households where our parents were monitoring spirits. Yeah. So now you get in a space where you feel like you're not being monitored. Now you're able to use your voice. You get to a place where you go to college and you get if you're in a scholarship program, you get a refund. Now you got some money in your pocket, right? The first time you see black people with wealth. The first time I ever went abroad was through school. They covered it. You feel me? So it's certain things that college come with outside of just academics.
Right.
It's what you have seen. I've seen it in your network. So that's why I speak to. It's like college for much more than just academic pursuits. So don't ever try to tell nobody college and debt. I'd rather you feel me? You alive. You feel me? And when we talk about wealth, I say you can't build a generational wealth if you haven't lived to see a generation. And we got young men that's not living to see a generation, but we talking about generational wealth. I gotta first get you to live, bro. Let me show you how you make it to 18. Then let's get you to 25. Then we gonna talk about stuff. But I can't just keep pushing money because it's a lot of ways to get money, right? And the way you go about getting it matters because, I've seen a lot of people lose life in pursuit of just obtaining the bag.
That's heavy.
Right. Do y'all got y'all pens and paper?
The notepads. And I think it also speaks to discipline. College also requires
that's a fact.
A certain amount of discipline.
Right. You gotta go to class.
You gotta go.
At a certain time. And all right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about structure, right?
Yeah, structure.
So even as an entrepreneur, if that's what you want to do, you don't want to go to school, you want a business. All right, you need to have deadlines, like just like projects and assignments. You need to go to certain places at certain times, right? Just like you have to go to certain classes. Certain things we talk about systems. So they say if you know one thing about one system, you know one thing about all systems, right? So we need to develop systems. Systems have times, they have deadlines, they have tasks. If you're building a business, you need to set deadlines, systems, and plans.
You have to be organized, detail.
You know how much time you have to learn how to develop a system that requires discipline. So it's even things on that foundation, like how a school functions as a system. It's something you could learn from, right? So it's things like that. Perception. You got how you carry yourself on campus matter. People treat you different based on how you're perceived. Yeah. I don't care if they want to say, "Oh, I don't have to wear a suit." No. I'm not saying that, but you do have to be mindful how you are perceived. People, your own people treat you different based on how you carry yourself. Right. So if it's black and white, regardless, I'm telling you that perception matters. Yeah. Right. Whether you got your own business or you work for a business, you don't want people showing up to your business meeting with a bonnet on and pajamas. So why would you show up to somebody else's meeting with bonnets on and pajamas?
That's a fact.
Right.
So what we saying? You got to build a code for your village, and then you abide by your code.
That's good.
Yeah.
I know for me as an adult learner, everyone asks, like, what's the challenge with going back to school? And for me, it's not really the work. It's the deadlines. It's the requirement. And then you're working with 3 or 4 different professors. One professor will be like, oh, okay, well, you can hand in a paper in a week, and then the next is like, I need this discussion board every day at 6 o'clock, and I'm juggling work, putting the kids in the bathroom, like 6, 7, I have the school with how am I get this done? But that can determine, your GPA. It can determine your reputation with, whether you're on the dean's list or not. So that's been my struggle personally, Jordan.
But you're doing it, baby.
I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
Feel me? A lot of times it's hard to do, but you're doing it.
That's a fact.
You're doing it.
With 3.
And then I have a daughter, right? I have to lead by example. And like your parents, because I had options, she has no options.
What's she going to say if she see you doing? What's she going to say? You going to tell her, sis, I did all this. You told me we can't complain. you can't tell that if you was quitting. But
Right.
you doing this like, come on.
Mommy
never-
did it. I see mommy getting
Right.
up every day,
I
getting
never
up dressed
showed
for
you that.
school.
I never
Ain't
showed
going
you
to
that.
school.
Right.
That's a fact.
And my mother was a model because she graduated college
Yeah.
while I was in
Right.
elementary school. My
Yeah.
father was a
Right.
hustler. I always say my father gave me the hustle. My mother gave me the ambition.
Yeah,
So-
right.
Yeah.
That's good.
How has Brooklyn and your neighborhood
BK.
shaped your desire to fight for social justice?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
And I said this, right? I said, I was speaking one day and I told him, like, we live in a time period where they're trying to remove our history. I said, but anybody that understands the history understand that if it was one thing that we as black people always knew how to do is how to fight.
Mm.
Coming from the hood, we always had that.
That's
Like,
a
we
fact.
from Brooklyn, we ain't never have no inferior spirit. We
Yeah.
move with a certain way. And people that's not from Harlem and Brooklyn, when they meet us, they like, why you feel me? 'Cause
Right,
it
right,
is
right.
a
Why
culture
you-
shock because we
that is a
do
fact,
move with
though.
a certain type of oomph.
Mhm. Yeah.
That if you're not from us, you think we rude, disrespectful
Yeah.
because you just don't know where that come from. But we have been built that way. So in Brooklyn, though,
Mm.
and how my village raised me to be social justice, my brother was in the streets growing up. So I have an older brother.
Mhm.
I seen what he been through growing up. But because he been through certain things, he gained certain friends in the hood. They protected me growing up.
Love that.
Right? So like before a shootout, what happened? They like, yo, JL, go upstairs.
Go upstairs. They would warn
They'd
you.
take me. I remember one of them would walk me to the building. Like
Right.
yo, before,
Village.
they'd walk me to the building. So I could never like
Your
turn
village
my
was
back on my
diverse.
community. Yeah, like what? I got a family from down the block. That's the family. When it's time to
Right.
fight, you call it down the block family.
Right.
I
Down
got
the
my
block family.
Church family. I got my side of the church, my mom. Then we got the hood. Like so, I've seen all of it, and you have
Diversity is
right.
key.
You need that, and that's why
Yeah.
that's important because like when you go to school, and it's for my scholars, like you never want to cut off your relationship with your friends. They make it seem like because you're evolving
Yeah.
that you're supposed to lose your friends. But when it's time to war, you gotta have your warrior
You gotta
friends.
have
That's a fact.
They trying to condition you to be in the corporate, and when it's time to fight, your corporate friends and scholars in
Right.
school is not ready to
Right,
fight.
right. They
The
not
one from the
around.
hood called me
They
JL
not
up
around.
there.
Right.
That's a
I'm
fact.
smoke.
They're like, what's
Yeah.
that?
So that's what Brooklyn taught me. Is like, yeah, the
Yeah.
importance of being diverse, but the importance of community and a village, right? It takes a village to
Yeah.
raise a child, and the
Yes.
village definitely raised me.
If you could choose one song or
Oh, that's
soundtrack
good.
to narrate or describe your life, what would it be and why?
Oh,
That's a
man.
good one.
A song to narrate my life. Oh,
Come on, Jordan. That's a
Man.
good one.
word, because I'm old school.
Brooklyn.
too.
You
I
old
got a
school?
lot
I'm
of-
old school
Who
too,
want
though.
that?
Take it back.
Man. Y'all got me stuck for the first time. A song, because, we got new songs, you got old songs.
Right, exactly. Are you a hip hop, R&B? Like
I
what's
listen
your-
to I go
everything?
Marvin Gaye, I
Oh.
listen to What's Going
Excuse me,
On.
you
I
said
can listen
Marvin
to
Gaye.
Frankly
that's
Beverly
right.
Mays.
Whoa,
I could listen
okay,
to Ain't No
let's
Stopping
go.
Us Now. You feel me? I'm trying
Like
to
the
think. Biggie's
cookout.
Juicy.
Oh,
I
Biggie
could-
Juicy.
Listen,
If you
can we
don't
get an
know,
invite to
now
The
you
Voice? What is
know,
it, the
nigga.
third annual
Yeah, the third one.
community?
Nah, definitely send an invite. We're going to exchange everything. All right,
We'll
y'all
be-
got me
yes.
stuck right now. I got to
All
think.
right, we'll double
I
back.
gotta
We'll
think.
double back.
Yeah.
So we do have,
song.
the time is dwindling, but we appreciate this conversation. We want to introduce you to our segment, Tea and Treats.
Yes,
right?
tea and treats. So I am the owner and operator of my bakery, Ebony, the Queen of Banana Pudding, where I cater events, birthdays, whatever you want to experience, right? And so, but I am also a distributor for Herbalife. I'm a wellness coach.
Okay.
And
okay.
yeah, so I have
You
my
gotta
business.
say like you from Brooklyn. See, that's
So
what Harlem gets.
I have a
Wellness
business with
coach.
that.
Well, she next door to you. She queen.
Word,
yeah,
Queens.
y'all
You
next
gotta-
door, y'all
You gotta
next
get some
door.
Brooklyn in there. You gotta say how Queens get the money though. Go ahead.
I got you. And
"Go
so
ahead."
and so I am really, really strong on getting our people to eat right. And so even my desserts, I have vegan, low fat, whatever,
Fire.
your preference. But in our 21-day challenges, and that's what we do every 3 months. I'm about to start one up soon, is we get all of our friends from social media, our families, and we start this challenge. We get into a group on social media. What's the app called?
Telegram.
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 And so that group is, we're just holding each other accountable,
yeah.
right? We doing our challenges. We working out for like an hour. We eating right. We reading labels off because this food nowadays are killing us.
Yeah.
So I really promote eating right, detoxing, fasting.
Yeah.
Like every other week, I try to detox just to clean my body out, my mind.
Yeah.
And so, I encourage everybody, look out for the 21-day challenge. Everybody's asking me, Ebony, when you starting? Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned. So yeah,
All right, would
that's
you
the
like?
businesses.
Are you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes,
Let's do it.
yes.
Let's
Okay.
do it. Yeah, I'm what?
I
Banana
did
put
a
in my
little.
thing. I don't know
the
if you
little and the big, but here you go, baby.
Thank you, my love.
and it's you.
That's me. Okay,
best-
low fat,
the
not
best
too sweet.
banana
Nah,
pudding
You know what I'm
on the
saying? We got
mat.
organic cookies, no sugar. Yeah. Do you like banana pudding? Have you ever
This is
had?
my favorite thing.
Oh, stop playing, Jordan.
That's why I know if you looked it up or something.
Don't do it. I didn't see.
Look.
I've read about you, but I didn't
It's
know
the
banana
intuition
pudding.
for me. Let's go.
It's fire.
Ooh, and I don't,
You like?
We want to give you a taste tester. Like, we want to give you a review.
I mean, you can.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
you
like
can.
fire. I ain't
It's,
gonna
all
lie.
right, let the people know where your
Banana
camera. Where
pudding
your
is
camera?
good. I love it.
I love it.
So,
Not too sweet, right?
Nah, good.
Organic
It's so
cookies,
good.
and we did
I don't know how to
organic
make banana
bananas.
pudding though,
For real.
but I know how to eat it. So I'm glad you brought
So anybody having events, call your girl.
yes,
DM
holla at
me.
Queen of Banana
I
Pudding
do an
on
experience
Instagram. Queen
Instagram.
of Banana Pudding.
for sure.
Okay.
So while we get into the tasting, right?
Mhm.
The tea is the topic. So we're gonna throw out a few topics.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap it up. What do you think is something that you would like to discuss on this platform? The Trump meeting Zelensky in the Oval Office the other day. Former Governor Cuomo announcing his run for NYC mayor. I didn't even know that was
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Joy Reid let go from MSNBC through the conservative agenda. What would you like to discuss?
We're gonna do Joey and Reed. The other one's real messy.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I thought you were gonna throw on the mayor, Eric Adams, too. But listen,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna stay with Joey and Reed.
Yeah, let's do
because
that.
we talk about media, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I want us to know is that media plays a role in shaping your identity, right? So I say you become what it is that you watch. Right. So because what you watch impacts how you think impacts how you behave impacts how you configure your identity. How you configure your identity impacts not only how you see yourself, but how the world treats you. So when I seen the removal of Joanne Reed, what I seen it as was she was like one of the first Black women to have that type of platform. And what she spoke to was something that was critiquing and criticizing the structure of this system. Right. And they understand the power of media to an extent that many of us are not realizing, knowing that media plays a big role in what we see, what we deem to be important.
Right.
So moving her was a big thing in regards to like bringing back a single narrative. They want to keep a certain narrative and portray a certain image.
Yeah.
So Joanne Reed was countering that and they had to remove her. So I need us to understand that media is going to be very important in these coming days. Coming to understand what narratives are being told and which ones are not. There's an African proverb that says, it says, until a lion learns how to write, the story always glorify the hunter. Right. And it's important for us to understand that we know how to write, but there are people that want to continue to portray that single narrative of the story of just a hunter.
Yeah.
Right. So Joanne Reed was pivotal in our community in regards to using her platform to speak upon things and injustices. And her removal is big, but we got to understand that this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
Right?
I
When
just
it comes
said that.
to this changed landscape of media. So social media will be important. How you use your platform there and things that we can't control.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of silencing going on behind the scenes that we need to become more privy to.
Do you think it's a domino effect? It was Don Lemon, it was Angela Rye, so many of our voices that are being removed.
If I be honest, like for me, I mean, I would have asked them, like, what did you expect, though?
Right.
We've seen what happened to our leaders.
Right.
Malcolm X was assassinated. Martin Luther King was assassinated. Any leaders that spoke truth to power were assassinated. So even with me, to an extent, you know, I could be both. I could be a Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So there's some platforms I can get on that others may not get on that's more radical, right? Because I'm seen in different lenses. So I get in certain rooms others can't. But I do need us to know that, it's always been an attempt to silence the Black narrative.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's something about our history and who we are that people don't want us to be reaffirmed in that. So we got to expect that. It's certain things like at this point, it's like I don't really see the accolades as a stand of my achievements, right? That doesn't confirm like I'm doing great because I got an accolade or because I'm on TV.
Right.
It's like knowing that the impact is what we need to measure our platforms based on.
I have a question. The last question. I know we going over our time, but what do you think the older generation can do better to support and uplift our younger generation? Because I heard you talk a little bit about that on one of your stories that I put up on mine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think that's so important for our viewers, especially the older, you know?
Absolutely. The intergenerational conversation is important, right? Like I said, you never want to assume you want to teach.
Yeah.
I'd rather come from a teaching standpoint and then come from a, you know, I may judge and critique, but first I need to teach you. Because a lot of things we have been taught and we have learned through experiences that a lot of people haven't undergone or wasn't taught. So it's an injustice that we serving by assuming that you should know rather than me teaching. Like, yo, do you know how this
I
works?
love that.
Let me teach you that. So the old generation needs to do that. We need to hold our hand through certain stuff because what we are trying to build is a system, right? Other ethnicities and cultures have systems. In order to be the system or to build a village, you need to construct one, right? But it requires this intergenerational conversation of lessons that you have learned and things that you have been through. Because the reason why you've been through it, so I don't have to go through it. But if you've been through it and never taught me about what you've been through, and I'm going through what you're going through, why did you go through it?
Yeah.
Right? Some people look at me and say, Jordan, you're so young. I should be 24 speaking as I am.
I should be.
You shouldn't be like, when I was 24, I went through that. I should not be the same 24-year-old as you because you should teach me at 16 what you learned at 24. So by the time I become 24, I'm moving as if somebody that's older, right? That's what's supposed to happen. So intergenerational culture is important, and that's what I push when it comes to the roles y'all ought to play.
That's good.
One of my favorite clips is when Tupac, he did a speak at a Muslim forum.
I seen that.
He was
going on.
He
said, we marching on the anniversary for marching. He said, we reading on how to fight. What's that about? You gotta study how to fight.
And his point was, okay, we talk about the youth,
right?
But then what we do, we jump in a car and we drive off, right?
You cannot say we doing it for the youth and none of the youth are present,
right?
Absolutely. So you need to create spaces. Oh, so I wrote something. I was like, for those that have come before us, you need to always have an apprentice, right? You need to build a blueprint. What it is that you're doing. When you're building that blueprint, it's going to help you identify when you're moving and when you're progressing, because you can't build a blueprint based on movement, but you can on progression. And a lot of us are confusing movement with progression, right? So you need to build a blueprint on what it is that you're doing. You need to always have an apprentice. And then whenever you go into a space, you need to bring someone to gain that exposure to what it is that you're doing. Because again, we don't want the knowledge to die with you because that defeats the purpose.
Is that for the older generation too? Like,
the older generation, yes, needs to take accountable for the baton that's not being passed down to the next generation. Yeah,
that's for all of us. That's how we build a community in a village.
That's good.
That's good. Play and pause is a metaphorical wrap up we use. So what are you pressing play on for the new year? What are you pausing and what are you stopping?
So what I'm pressing play on is, I think a theme of my season right now is stop thinking and just do. Right. So I need to stop just always thinking, like even coming here, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. Do I need to prepare?
Right.
Just do. A lot of us doing too much thinking and procrastination, and that's preventing us from even trying. So it's like just do. So I just need to do. What I need to put a pause on is that doubt. It's different times where doubt may come to my mind, even though I've done certain things so much that even when opportunities arise, I still question, am I able to do it? I need to put that on pause. Pause the doubt. Doubt got no space right now.
Pause the doubt.
Pause.
And then, stopping, I guess, when it comes to stopping is, I'm going to stop allowing me not feeling motivated to stop me from maintaining my discipline. Right? So I had to get back in that. It's like, I need to wake up. We don't want to get too comfortable. When you start getting too comfortable, that's when things happen. Yeah. It's like always make yourself uncomfortable, get in positions that make you scared. You ought to be scared when you're making steps to progress. Right? It's like, I should be scared right now because I've never been here before.
Right.
I should be scared. If I'm always, hey, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Do something new.
I needed that.
Right?
I needed
do something
that.
new. You should be scared. So that's why I'm gonna stop it. Stop
because it's a natural emotion, right?
Absolutely. So we need to embrace it. And I think that's what we haven't been taught. You should be scared.
Yeah. That's good.
We're not supernatural. We're not superhuman.
Receive that. There was a quote that we loved.
Yes.
That
quote of the week, y'all. You know how we do.
A child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth.
Absolutely.
And that's from Jordan.
Yeah. So that's another African proverb, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in media. I gotta do a poem one day. I'm gonna give you like a snippet. I said, like, in real life, I'm like Killmonger. I've been preparing every day to get a shot at this stage to display my rage. I said, I find it crazy how we, the victims of all the killings, got so much in common with those they portray to be the villains. I said, you see, we play a role in the assassination of our own character. Looking up their characters now in real life will look down on us. Yeah. While you was fixated on Bruce Wayne turning to Batman, I was fixated on conditions that molded Arthur into the Joker. Right? So what I'm saying that to say, like,
you better talk.
I'm gonna sturdy up when I do it.
Come on, Jordan.
I'm gonna do that poetry, please. Coming soon.
Coming soon. Stay tuned.
But when I say I use Killmonger and I use Joker, right?
Yes.
They would mold into that. Killmonger and Black Panther, he was left by the village.
He was.
So when he wanted to come back, it's like he's like, y'all got vibranium and y'all not trying to help. I'm here to destroy.
Came back for vengeance.
Tupac often said the hate you give little infants come back to F everybody.
Yeah.
What you feed into a child will come back.
That's
right?
a fact.
The Joker, Arthur you know, they negated him. He was made to feel invisible. He had his mental illness. He was different. And people made him feel like he was casted out.
Yeah.
Then he became the Joker.
Ooh.
You got to know, and that's in real life, we have to come to understand that conditions create revolutions, not people. Right? So you got to understand it's our conditions that we put people in. When we say that the burn down the village, because we're not being reaffirmed. So in order to stop the violence, you got to make our young men feel seen, make them feel heard. And know that you belong and that you love, even if it's not in your household, it's out here with us.
And you doing that, Jordan.
And we're manifesting your presidency.
We're gonna make it happen.
Your presidency.
We already call you Mr. President.
We are manifesting it. Okay.
They gonna need to see this though. They gonna need to see this.
That's
this gonna be a part of the history.
Yeah, we throwing that out in the atmosphere, and it's done.
That's
Amen.
It. Let's do it.
And we literally, like, this was seamless.
Yeah,
we love you for what you're doing, for what you represent.
Yeah.
I have 2 sons. We have family. We have nephews. And, you know, you are truly inspiring.
Yeah.
So thank
the voice,
you.
The voice.
I want to thank y'all for using your platform. You know?
Absolutely.
It's important that we also reaffirm our Black woman for what y'all been through. I do believe that history has been told in a patriarchal lens and don't often, like, position y'all in y'all power, you know, showing, because we think of any movements, like civil rights movement was organized by a Black woman.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't say who the organizers that built the movement, because often the Black man is put at the face of it.
Yeah.
But our organizers, people that brought the people together, that also keep us as leaders, that catch us when we not willing to lead and motivate us to do, is our woman that's behind us. Right. So I often want to say that. And I think that's what young women need to hear as well. It's like, you know, no matter how many movements we build as men, none will be sustainable without you.
Without a woman.
You feel me?
That's so good, Jordan.
We appreciate you.
Can you just tell the people your
Instagram, where they can follow you,
so,
your clothing line,
everything?
Yeah, it's Jordan Pierre, JORDANPIERR, and 2 E's. The website for the brand is called Voice by Pierre. So Voice by Pierre, PIERRE.com. National public speaker. You can see all of that in my bio and my link tree. But you can see me there, you know, and we part of the family, so respectfully.
I
appreciate it.
We family now.
Thank you. And let your next move be your best move.
And that is a wrap. Thank you, Jordan. High five it, baby. High five. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
My dreams is vivid, work hard to live it. Any place I visit, I got land there. My dreams is vivid, work hard.